Other provisions and successor trustee section. So that's right after the family info section. Um, we start off with some other trust questions, such as whether or not the clients own IRAs or other qualified retirement plans, reverse mortgages, sole proprietor businesses, LLCs, or corporations. Go ahead and select any of those that apply. And then full name of the living trust. Ultimately, once you submit this whole questionnaire to me, I will be the determining uh, factor in terms of what the name of the trust will be. But you can follow the convention that is grayed in as the placeholder as an example of how to name the living trust and these little instructions there. All right, successor trustees. And basically when you click on this page tutorial link, and eventually I'll have an actual button, a unique button that'll say page tutorial for every little explainer video that I'm producing here for each of these sections instead of a text link. But that's what this link will lead you to, is videos like this for each of these important pages. But successor trustees, go ahead and read this over, this page explanation graphic, and also go into the concepts of successor trustees by either clicking on this in-depth video explanation or explain successor trustees. Both buttons will link you to the same concept video about what successor trustees are. But once you understand the concepts of successor trustees and who they are, how they should be chosen, then you'd apply that concept to filling out this page. So let's say the clients want 2 successor trustees, a primary and a backup. You'd select this option, name the first successor trustee, relationship, address, and phone number, and the second individual. If they want a single successor trustee and then an alternate and then a second alternate, then you click on that option and the appropriate fields pop up. Okay, first, second, and third. There's other options here where you can have 2 successor co-trustees. That's usually not advisable, or it's not a good idea. I'd rather put it that way. When you have successor trustees that are working together, co-trustees, and again, these are the trustees that the clients would select to administer the living trust once they both pass away, or if they are, let's say one is deceased and then the other becomes incapacitated, then the successor trustees would kick in to manage the living trust for their benefit, while the incapacitated trustee is unable to make their decisions due to dementia or Alzheimer's, etc. But it's usually not a good idea to have co-successor trustees. And I've seen this personally happen a few times already when I'm administering a living trust after my clients pass away. And that's just not necessarily a trust that I created, but trusts where you have a trust that was done somewhere else and the clients come to me for trust administration, and it turns out that the parents designated 2 sons as co-trustees. Well, it turns out that years later, after the parents or the trustors passed away and time came for trust administration, the brothers were no longer talking to each other. And it could have something to do with the trust. It could be completely unrelated to the trust. But when that happens, that's a huge, huge bottleneck and problem, where now the trustee, the co-trustee who is ready to do trust administration, but the other is not communicating due to a personal disagreement, now the co-trustee who is ready to move forward can't move forward. They have to petition the court to have that unresponsive or uncooperative co-successor trustee removed from their duties. And that's a big, big problem. So generally speaking, it's a good idea to have a primary, first backup, then second backup, okay? Or a primary and then possibly 2 successor co-trustees. For example, we have 2 successor co-trustees here, and if one fails, here's another one here, 2 successor co-trustees with an alternate co-trustee. So yeah, it's definitely the options are there, but let the clients know it's usually not a good idea to do that. And that's pretty much how you would fill that part out. But also using the applied knowledge of what a successor trustee is and what their duties are in terms of trust administration. You can also keep in mind that clients can choose their children, their adult children, as successor trustees, and 95% of my clients do that when they have adult children that they plan on also leaving the inheritance to. So beneficiaries can also be successor trustees. Um, Professional trustee corporations and banks who do this as a service can also be named as successor trustees, but be advised that those professional trustees do charge usually a percentage of the trust estate as their fee, whereas clients who designate their adult children as successor trustees are usually not compensated because they're going to get an inheritance regardless. But again, if there's any inkling or any potential that adult children successor trustees who are also beneficiaries can cause some problems and do some bad stuff while they're acting as successor trustee, then it might be a good idea for the client to name someone else, an unrelated individual or another related person who is not a beneficiary, but plan on designating a small fee for that person to act as successor trustee. Okay, that's pretty much it for that section.